This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. It's great to have you with us. The local branch of the Bahamas Engineers Society wrapped up a 2-day conclave this afternoon with a lunch meeting at the Pelican Bay Resort. The country's acting Prime Minister was the featured speaker. Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Public Works, the Honourable Philip Davis, gave the professional engineers a status report on initiatives and projects being undertaken by his ministry. He says the proposed contractors' bill should be placed on the agenda in Parliament within the coming months.
I'm advised, and in fact, I'm aware, that the current draft of this strategic piece of legislation is substantially complete, with the exception of the necessary research to ensure that its provisions do not conflict with those of the Electricity Act, particularly as it relates to the licensing of electrical contractors.
Minister Davis says the monitoring of foreign engineers operating in the Family Islands is a major concern for the Engineers Society.
The government is aware of this concern, that there apparently continues to be a disregard of the law by persons and businesses in our Family Islands, going ahead with the employment of foreign engineers for work without first seeking the assistance from the Bahamian engineering fraternity, and, if necessary, applying for the necessary work permits and the licensing from the Professional Engineers Board.
The Works Minister says his ministry will continue to work with the relevant agencies to ensure full compliance with the Professional Engineers Act and the Immigration Act. As for capital projects on the drawing board for Grand Bahama, the minister says finding a solution to the flooding problem at the Fishing Hole Road remains a priority.
It is expected that we will very shortly move for the redevelopment of the Fishing Hole Road. The challenges with this important roadway are legendary. I have instructed the Department of Public Works to determine a robust, cost-effective, environmentally friendly solution to this well-known problem.
The Ministry of Transport and Aviation has launched an investigation into the circumstances that has resulted in a fuel tanker running aground in waters off Lovers Beach in 8 Mile Rock. The Formosa Falcon reportedly ran aground about half a mile out to sea around 2:30 yesterday afternoon. Reports are that the vessel was altering her position at Freeport Anchorage due to her proximity to another vessel, and westerly winds forced the vessel aground. According to a statement issued by the Ministry of Transport, the vessel has more than 12,000 tons of alkalite, and there is no evidence of emission into the waters, and the hull is said to be intact. The ministry's statement confirms that during a high tide around 2 o'clock this morning, international and local marine salvage experts took steps to refloat the vessel by using the tugboats and the tanker's own engines, but they were unsuccessful. The National Oil Spill Advisory Committee has been notified and placed on alert, and a full investigation is expected to be carried out. The Minister for Grand Bahama says the government is in the process of making a decision on the future of the former Freeport Inn Hotel. The resort property was purchased in January of last year by the former administration to facilitate the expansion of the healthcare system, but that plan was abandoned. Since then, the building has been sitting dormant in the heart of downtown in a dilapidated state, but as Shashina Roll reports, that is expected to change soon.
The former administration purchased the old Freeport Inn at a cost of $1.9 million with a view of using the property for the expansion of the neighboring Rand Memorial Hospital. But the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, says very soon the government will find a proper use for the old Freeport Inn.
The last administration purchased the hospital on some pretense that they were going to expand over into the old Royal Palm Resort. From our understanding and looking at the facility, I'm very uncertain of how they were about to accomplish that, because the building was old. It needed massive renovation. We do have a security officer at the building, but still, even with the security officer present, there's still a bit of things that are happening at the building.
While the minister once recommended that the 170-room resort be handed over to social services to be used as a homeless shelter for those who had fallen on hard times, there was strong opposition to that plan, and it had to be shelved. Dr. Darville says the government is currently exploring other ways to utilize this building.
A couple of things on the drawing board. I have spoken with the chairman of the College of the Bahamas to look at utilizing that particular facility as a dormitory facility, as well as to bring the facility back up to the standard that is necessary for a resort, and it possibly could also be used as a training hotel for students who are at the College of the Bahamas in the hospitality industry. We're looking at that. But there is no question that the facility itself, on purchase, was in complete disrepair.
He is also refuting certain claims surrounding the building.
No, there is no vagrants in the building. Yes, there has been reports, and we have a documented report from the police as well as the Ministry of Works that there was some vandalism to the building. That's been going on for a long time. Any building that you have sitting for more than a year, you're going to have vandalism. And what we have to do now is we need to find a specific use for the building. And once that's done and we occupy it, the whole issue of individuals coming in and out to remove things from the building, it will be put to rest.
But Darville admits that it would take massive renovations in order to get the former Island Palm Resort, also known as the former Freeport Inn, back up and running. Shashina Rule, ZNS Network News.
3 suspects, 36-year-old Sherry Elizabeth Rigby Roll, 37-year-old Franklin Hepburn, both of Churchill Drive, South Bahamia, and 41-year-old Domesta Duncombe of Wimpole Lane were arraigned on fraud and stealing charges before Magistrate Helen Jones today. Franklin Hepburn pleaded guilty to both charges and was ordered to pay $2,000 in compensation and has been placed on probation for 5 years. The case against Duncombe and Rigby Roll was dismissed. The charges relate to a complaint of stealing and fraud involving funds from the accounts of Sister Mary Patricia Russell Junior High School. The report was made to police on Monday. Meanwhile, 2 residents of Luna Boulevard, South Bahamia, appearing before the drug court in New Providence today on charges of possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply. 32-year-old Lester Eugene Adderley and 30-year-old Lakeisha Heald both pleaded not guilty and were remanded to Her Majesty's Prison in New Providence until July of next year. Police say officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit conducted a search of their residence this week and reportedly discovered over 12 pounds of suspected cocaine valued at $196,000. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition continues right after this.